Hello, welcome. Happy Easter Monday. I'm sorry, we're a little bit late today, a bit last minute, but we're here, which is great. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining us. Good to have your company. As always, do drop us a message. Tell us what you're up to, what's been happening. It's been a lovely weekend, but gosh, today it's really, really chilly up and down the country. Actually, it's gone back to snowy weather. So hopefully you're in somewhere warm, having a nice coffee and having not eaten too many Easter eggs over the weekend. I know we had so many Easter eggs at home. Anyway, we are back and it's Monday and we're live with Livia, and she's going to be, of course, cooking us up some more sweet treats today. And it's just what we need for the waistline. Anyway, hello, Livia. Say hello, where are we? Yes, there you
Hello.
are.
Hello. Ciao, Lorna. Come va? Buona Pasqua. Actually, yeah. Actually, today it's Pasquetta, so it's I don't know. Do you have? Is it a bank holiday there too?
Yeah, bank holiday here. Yeah.
And is it a religious one or? Because bank holiday is very, very general.
It's general. Yeah. So the team are off today. They're having a well-deserved weekend off, but we've just popped up into the office. So yeah, everyone's off, and it's a bank holiday, and it's just an extra day off today.
Yeah, here in Italy, it's called Pasquetta, and I think it's the Monday of the angel. I don't know, something religious about the angels that go to the women that find out Jesus Christ was dead, something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's a religious holiday after Easter, and you actually eat even more, not just leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a way to eat twice, let's say. Yeah. And today we're going to do some sweet dessert, and is a way to reuse the colomba that you opened the day before, and maybe you had enough, and you would like to change it in different ways. So that's.
And so for anybody who's watching who's not familiar with the Columba is the traditional Italian Easter cake. It's a bit like a sponge, and and the shape is a dove shape. That's why it's called Columba.
Exactly. Yeah, it's similar to. At the end, it's similar to panettone. So it has been, let's say, invented in the 1930s, always in Milan, where Motta was producing panettone. And it was a way to keep their factory open also during Easter. So they have invented this dessert, which actually maybe go back to the origins during the Longobardi, so long time ago in the 6th century after Christ. But it got the shape of the colomba. How do you call colomba, Lorna?
Colomba is really specific. Yeah, it's really specific to Italy, but I think colomba means dove in Italian.
Yeah, dove. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and it represents la pace, so peace at the end, right? So that's why it's got this symbol. But it was a way to have open also the factories for the panettone production also during Easter. Very similar. And I got one here, which is another famous Italian brand. As you can see, it's produced since 1894. It's called Melegatti. I don't know if you ever heard about it. It's actually closed. Mine, I opened it just to... So we didn't have it yesterday. So I kept it full in the real size to show you how it looks like. I think you have it for sure. As you have also panettone, I guess you have also colomba. Okay. So this is something that could be quite difficult to make it at home if you want to do it properly with the real ingredients and the right ingredients, let's say, with the right growing of the dough. So it has to rise, to grow at least 3 times, once for 2 hours and the other time maybe for many more hours. So that's why at the end, not a lot of people do it at home. Then you can do tricky recipes, slightly different, where it doesn't have to rise as much as this, to grow as much as the traditional one. But usually it's something you would buy. You would buy it in nice pasticceries, for example, but it's something that you would buy already made to have a proper and good one. Now they have many different kinds. They stuff them in many different ways, with chocolate, with limoncello, which is something maybe that our guest would like. But actually, the traditional one got inside some candy fruit, and usually it's orange candy oranges, and just raisins sometimes. Very similar to what a panettone would be. So this recipe that I'm going to show you, one is to make a tiramisu with strawberries and colomba leftovers. Okay, so quite simple and fast. Something you can keep in the fridge and use it in the next days. And also, I'm going to show you how to make. Now, I'll show you first the final result. I've done it this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can place it here if you want. So these are like little truffles. I can leave it here as you prefer. Okay. So they are truffles, like little, we call it tartufi. I think you can call it truffles also in UK. And they are made with Columba leftovers. Yeah.
Yeah, we call it truffles as well. And has one got pistachios? Have you rolled one in pistachios, chocolate?
Yes, one got pistachios, one just got cacao powder. These have orange zest I've done them with what I had at home. So, and then this one have just, it actually has a stuffing inside with chocolate. I will show you later with Nutella and just icing sugar around. So this is simple. You can keep them in the fridge. Okay. And you can use them as piccoli chocolatini. How do you call them? How do you call chocolatini in English? I don't know, like
chocolates, yeah.
Okay, so I will leave them here. Okay, and I will start with the recipe of the tiramisu, because for tiramisu we need to cut the colomba into sizes that you can fit in the single portion of tiramisu that I would like to do. So I got this glass, which is quite wide, and I would like to do a circular shape, and I have a pasta cutter that I will use to obtain it. We will actually, this is a way to reuse the old colomba. Okay, so actually a colomba that it doesn't really get hard, you know, when you buy it already made, because they got preservatives inside, but a colomba that you're not able to finish because it was too big, and maybe you live by yourself and you've opened it, but you got leftovers. So we are going to, I'll show you here, to slice a piece and then cook it in the oven for it to be toasted, let's say. Okay. So,
and so I was just thinking, when you do a normal tiramisu, though, you don't usually, I suppose maybe the biscuits are slightly crunchy. Is that why you're toasting the colomba cake?
In this case, I'm toasting it for the tiramisu, because as I think all of our guests have done a colomba. I think there is a rebound, maybe. Sorry, it's because I'm very close to my phone. I don't know if you have problems with the noise, but sorry. So usually our guests are used to tiramisu, and usually we make tiramisu with savoiardi, so with lady fingers, right? So, and they are quite spongy. They are spongy, exactly, and also they absorb liquid easy. So if you toast something that will absorb the liquid, you will realize that it absorbs it better. So that's why I am going now to take. I have the oven on. I got tray. I'm going to place it here, and I'm just going to.
Yeah, and I was looking actually online. You can get colomba cake, you know, for example, on Amazon. But if you can't get colomba cake, could you use panettone, or could you just use sponge? Or
you can use panettone, sure. Yeah, you can use panettone. Actually, the one that I've made, exactly this little truffle. I really make them because we had a panettone left over here, and we have used it in these days, and I couldn't finish it. So I had this idea for this reason. So that's why I made the little truffles this morning. So just to reuse the panettone. Va bene. So for the tiramisu, we are going to use, instead of savoiardi, instead of ladyfingers, we are using the colomba that is right now toasting for 5 minutes in a high temperature oven. 5 minutes one side, I will turn it over, and 5 minutes the other side, because the results have to be crunchy surface that will absorb the liquid better. Then we're going to make the cream, and we're going to put everything together. I also would like to start with the little truffle chocolatini made with colomba, and for this I am using what we need is a very fine result, let's say, so thickness of the colomba. So we need to use maybe a mixer to do it faster, and blend part of a little bit of this colomba mix it to make it fine, very fine, like a powder, and then we will mix it to the rest of the ingredients. But so I'm taking off some of the Columba, and I'm going to use a mixer to make it smaller. If your Columba is old, let's say, you can easily just do it with your hands, make it smaller with your hands instead. In this case, I prefer to use the mixer. So I'm going to mix it, make a little bit of noise, just a few seconds. Very fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. And we'll get some lovely Easter messages, Livia, some lovely messages. Mark, Buona Pasqua, Liz, Tanya, Val, Julia, and yeah, Val, great, some lovely messages. Everyone's just saying how cold and chilly it is in the UK. What's the weather like in Italy?
It's warmer. It was very warm last week, very strange. It was about 25, even 22. So all the plants get really going crazy because it's really warm. And now it went a little bit colder. It's very sunny, and my mother right now is in front of me in the terrace. It's sewing, so it's warm but a little bit more chilly. And I've heard that for you it's very cold.
Yeah, definitely.
It's quite cold.
Yeah,
so the weather is crazy, really. It's really changing all the time. Allora, this is the, I don't know if you can see it here.
Yeah.
Down here, this is the Columba that I've just, let's say, blended, okay, in the mixer, okay. Now I'm going to add a few spoons of mascarpone, let's say 2 spoons of mascarpone cheese.
Okay. And these are for this is for the truffle mix.
This is the truffle mix while the Columba is cooking in the oven. It's toasting in the oven. I'm turning over the Columba in the oven right now. Okay, just 5 more minutes, and also the other Columba is ready.
We ate so many Easter eggs yesterday. I'm not sure I could eat anything else sweet today.
I can imagine. But this is a recipe that you could use in the next days when you have leftover of this. Okay, so you see, we've mixed the mascarpone. Instead of mascarpone, if you want to make a lighter version, you could use even just some milk or cream. Is not much lighter. Mascarpone make it heavier, but for sure more, come si dice, tasty and maybe yummy. Okay. Then I'm adding a bit of cacao powder.
Yeah.
To give it some black color. You could also do some white version, not adding the cacao powder, and coloring the outside, dipping the little truffle when they are ready into melted dark chocolate. That way they will be white inside, pale color inside, and with dark chocolate outside. Okay. Then a little bit of sugar. Not that we need much, but you know, you can skip this, but it will also make it sticking together better.
And what did you have for lunch yesterday, Livia? Did you have a traditional lunch, have lamb? What did you cook?
Actually, no, we didn't cook lamb, but we had lasagna. I made the lasagna. I have some leftovers. We try to be light. And then I've made the torta pasqualina because I really like it. It's made it with spinach, which is typical from Liguria, but actually all over around Italy right now. I'm turning I'm turning off the oven. So it's like a, let's say, similar to what puff pastry would be, sfogliamatta stuffed with spinach and ricotta. And there should be 33 layers of this dough. Okay, so I think incredible because of the age of Jesus Christ. So 33 layers of this sfogliamatta, like to make it look like if it was puff pastry. Okay, so this is a mixture done. Okay, you can add liqueur if you like for example, rum will make it more tasty. Okay, rum or even brandy or something that you like. Not limoncello, I would say something that go well with chocolate.
Yeah. Whiskey. Not very Italian.
Whiskey, yeah, exactly. Maybe not a smoked one, but whiskey will be fine. Okay, so this is actually, if you let it rest a little bit in the fridge, you will be able to shape it better. But actually, this mixture now is ready. So you just have to take some in your hand. Very easy. I've made a version. This version is not very dark, but you can make tiny, very small balls, which will look nicer. What do you like this? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you will have to dip them into different ingredients. So one could be obviously icing sugar. Yeah. I suggest you to do the icing sugar later when you have to serve it, because otherwise it will disappear. Okay. Otherwise, well, it is important this stage when you make it very compact in between your hands.
And really simple ingredients. So it was just the Columba, your mascarpone, your cocoa powder, and a little bit of sugar.
A little bit of sugar, yes, and also liqueur if you want to make it alcoholic and tasty. And I suggest you to make them small because they are nicer, then. These are almonds, ground almonds.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
And
then otherwise you could, the rest of the orange if you want.
Yeah, I don't want to ask how long they'll last, because probably they'll not last very long. But they last in the fridge for a couple of days.
Yeah, they can last. They can last a couple of days, yes, for sure. And I suggest you to keep them in the fridge before serving them, because that would also, they are nicer when they are cold. It's a sweet, and it can be quite sweet also. I think colder will make it taste similar to chocolatini better for sure. And I think they are easier to eat when they are chilly outside, after you finish your meal, for example. And you can keep them in the fridge. Otherwise, you can freeze them and you can take them out when you have to serve them. You can enjoy discovering different way to color them or different way to flavor them, or you can stuff them. So I've done this white one stuffed with Nutella, I think. Yeah, as you can see inside there is a creamy Nutella. So you can stuff them with many different ingredients. So you can do them the way you like. So this, they're called tartufi.
Tartufi, yeah, sweet. A really nice idea.
Yeah, so we leave them here. And now we're going to make the tiramisu. Burning the colomba, sorry. Okay. Toasted a little bit too much, but okay. So this is the toasted colomba. Okay. Lorna, where are you? I've seen something that I didn't recognize. You're doing the live from your home?
No, I've moved to a different part of the office. Because there's nobody, it's just me in the office, so I've got used a different space. We've got a little corner here, and we've got some really nice new posters made, sort of the digital posters, Tuscany, Amalfi. We've got one of Puglia. So yeah, it's a bit of corner of Italy.
I saw you were I saw you were in a different corner, so I saw.
Yeah, different corner of the office.
Yeah. So what do you have? Tuscany, Amalfi, and what's the last one? I can see. Venice. Yeah.
And then we've got another one around the corner of Puglia, so that the images that we got made digitally, and we're not quite sure, we maybe make them into postcards or not quite sure, or smaller posters. But yeah, I like that one. The Amalfi one's one of my favourites.
Yeah, I think that's Positano. It looked like it was Positano Square maybe, or something like that. But
iconic images.
But anyway, I think there is one missing, Emilia Romagna.
Bologna.
Just to remind you that you got a villa also in Emilia Romagna. And also you should use an extra one, another one, Sardinia, which I think someone would really like you.
Yes, definitely.
To run an holiday there, you know that.
But, there's a programme on TV in the UK called Taste of Italy, and it's a lady who's been travelling around Italy. And last night I watched it, and she was in Viterbo. You ever been to Viterbo, Livia?
Viterbo, yes, it's beautiful for flowers, for plants. There are a lot of thermal baths.
Yes, that's right. So and it was funny, years ago when I started Flavours, 20 odd years ago, we used to always go to Viterbo and Lake Bolsena. That was the day trip. We used to do a morning in Viterbo, and then you go to Lake Bolsena and sit by the lake and have lunch. And she was in a restaurant and she was cooking, and they made aquacotta, which is really typical from that sort of northern Lazio region. And they do it's just lots of vegetables, and they put an egg in at the top. It's a really interesting soup. And then when they went to the lake, they were cooking lake fish, and it was corrigoni. And gosh, I haven't thought about corrigoni for years, but it's a really popular fish. And they did it in like almost like involtini with breadcrumbs wrapped and baked in the oven. It was really interesting, and it was reminding me we used to do Lazio as a holiday destination.
It's close to Tolfa, right? Where you were
exactly, that's right. Years ago, that's right.
The first time ever. Yeah.
So, I was thinking about that last night. Thinking, maybe we should do a retro trip one of these days and do Viterbo and Tarquinia. There's some really lovely little towns there that kind of get
the landscape is beautiful.
Yeah, really nice.
Because it's hilly. I think it's hilly, very green, and so I like that area. And it's less known, so less touristy. So it would be. Yeah.
It was nice. It was interesting. So that was I was pretending I was in Italy last night watching TV.
I can imagine. Well, here it's really warm. Not as I was saying, last week was warmer, but it's still warm. So I think you would enjoy it. But actually now you are more free and things are opening up, right? So you're free to meet people.
Right.
So only could be just warmer.
No, the hairdressers opened up today, Livia, so I've got an appointment later on in the week.
Ah, very good. I cannot imagine how people have done without the hairdresser since December. Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I was talking to my aunt. Well, here hairdresser has been open, and that's why we have a lot of problems now. But not because of the hairdresser, but because things have been open. But my aunt I've seen her hair was done, and I said, "Have you been to the hairdresser?" And she said, "Yes, she do it just for us. That we go every week since a long time." So you see, here people is I don't know what they're doing exactly, but nothing's by the rules for sure. Vabbè. Comunque, so now if we keep going with the tiramisu, I prepare the cream that we'll use to build the little tiramisu. So these are 2 eggs, okay? And with these 2 eggs, I'm going to add a few spoons of sugar, and I'm going to mix them, okay? I'm doing just 50 grams of sugar with the 2 eggs, okay? And the whites are whipped already, so. Sorry, just a second, and then you should whip it until it becomes pale. It changes the color.
Yeah.
So this is very similar recipe to a normal tiramisu, but actually is slightly different because in this case we don't use any coffee or any marsala, but we use limoncello and strawberry sauce. Okay. Well, obviously, if you whip it a little bit longer and a little bit more pale color, could be better.
We were just chatting about Sardinia, and I noticed Liz was talking about Sardinia, and one of the airlines actually I noticed there's going to be some new routes coming to Sardinia with Jet2 next year. So I think, Livia, you might get your way for Sardinia next year. We're flying into Olbia.
Olbia, yeah, perfect. Olbia is up in the north, and it's really beautiful. It's like the more posh area, let's say, but it's really good. Yeah, the north, I like the north. The south maybe is more wild. There are a lot of high mountains, and they're really special recipes, special ingredients, and the pastas are incredible. So I think our guests will go crazy learning how to make little ears or little rings, like very strange shape of pasta that I think will make them a little bit go crazy. But anyway, okay. So now I whip the yolks and the sugar. Now I'm going to add the mascarpone. Okay, I'm going to add this one here. I'm just doing a small amount, but you got the ingredients in the recipe. Okay, so I'm adding, in this case, about 200 grams of mascarpone for 2 eggs. Aspetta che faccio. Can show you this one here. Va bene. And I'm going to whip it just a second, Lauren. Sorry for the noise.
Just talk amongst yourselves.
Va bene.
Whenever I add in the egg whites, Livia, I'm always quite careful. I always fold them. I never whisk them.
Well, you should. I mean, you can whisk the yolk and the sugar, and then you should whisk the white on a side. Okay. And then you should fold, let's say, just fold gently the white in. But when you add the mascarpone, you can whisk because you don't unwhip anything. We didn't really whip the yolks and the sugar. We just mixed and melted the sugar with the yolks. We didn't really whip it. The only thing that we have whipped on peak was the white. I did it myself earlier, so that you don't have to wait. That's the important moment when you have to pay attention to unwhip, not to unwhip it. Okay. And now you fold in the white that are giving a nice consistency. They give a fluffy consistency to this mixture, and they insert air. I don't know how to pronounce it, you know. They insert air into our mixture, and they make it a completely different consistency from before. This is the, let's say, the most delicate part, as you were saying, and also is the bit where if you leave your mascarpone for a long time in the fridge, your tiramisu in the fridge for more than 2 days, you could realize that it makes some water, and the water is the white that have unwhipped.
Right. Tiramisu never lasts in our house for longer than 2 days, so we never have that problem, Livia.
I know that's something that happens in restaurants, so that's why when we make it in a restaurant, we avoid the white, but we use cream. We whip the cream and we mix the cream to it to give it a different consistency. Okay, so now my burned colomba. Okay, now I'm with this pasta cutter. I'm cutting the size that I need. Can reuse this for something else. Well, it needs to be toasted. It needs to be like a toast, and it needs to be crunchy, as we were saying. So it's not really burn. It's just that. It's just that my oven is a little bit crazy, and it's always making.
I know it's always whenever you're being watched as well, Olivia. It's always worse when no one's watching you. It's perfect, but as soon as somebody starts to watch you, it's always pressure.
Okay.
And it's quite interesting with that tiramisu then that you're not using chocolate, you're using strawberries.
Yes, that's because strawberries are in season, and I thought that it would be good to do a new version. And as a liqueur used for these strawberries, we should use limoncello.
I saw that in the recipe, that would be popular.
So un po' di limoncello. And also we are going to add a bit of the strawberry sauce that I've made previously. Sorry, I'm looking for it in the kitchen. I've just blended and I cannot find it. Vabbè, no, cannot be disappeared. We blended with you, Lon, so while we were talking. Comunque, we also we are going to dip into this mixture with the strawberries. We are going to dip the limoncello and the strawberries in there so that we could have also a slightly pink color, okay? And that would make it, I mean, thinking about, let's say, spring, you know, it's more like a spring dessert. There are many versions of tiramisu, and the traditional one, I guess you know that tiramisu means pick me up, right?
Yeah.
And and the name comes from the fact it's been invented in Venice, and it used to be used. I always say this story. It used to be used in brothels to give energy to prostitutes, and that's a real story because it's also on Wikipedia. So I promise that it's true. It's been invented in Venice or in Treviso. So. You know, there's people that say it was in Treviso, but you know, in Venice or in places where there's water, there is also a lot of brothels because there are sailors, tailors. And really the story says that as a dessert that is such a big amount of sugar and kicked by the fact that you use also coffee, that would give you a lot of energy to be very active and to be with a lot of energy. Va bene, while I'm looking for the strawberries that are not sure. No, we've done it together. Well, while we're looking for strawberries, we could talk about the next, I don't know, really.
Have you lost your strawberries?
I've lost the strawberries. In the fridge. Sorry. I put them in the fridge. This video will stay there forever. Okay. So these are strawberries that I've cooked with just with some sugar, and I've blended them. Okay. And some lemon juice that will give it a bit of more color. Sorry. And I'm adding these now to the limoncello, just a little. Okay. Obviously, if you want to get a more intense color, you should get a liqueur, which is a dark red color, which is called Alkermes. I don't know if you have it. It's a red liqueur that we usually use for dessert. And now that they are a little bit more colored, I dip it here.
I was just laughing. One of the guests was saying, she was watching online, Judith saying she lost her parsnips yesterday. She'd thrown them out with the peelings. That's funny, I can imagine. It happens to us all.
As you can see, yeah, well, it happens to me very often. Okay, and I'm adding a little bit of this cream.
So that's just the strawberries and the limoncello together.
The strawberries and limoncello, and then strawberries that I have cooked with sugar and a little bit of lemon juice. Okay. Gosh, this is our tiramisu mixture, which is just mascarpone, sugar, and the white of the yolk. Okay. Then I'm adding a little bit of more strawberry sauce.
That's lovely. Tanya was just saying she made Sussex pond pudding yesterday. What's Sussex pond pudding, Tanya? You must tell us. I've never heard of that. That sounds unusual. Sussex pond pudding. Please tell us. Oh, yes.
I think you have a lot of dessert. You have a lot of nice desserts that we don't have.
No, that's great.
You have more, more ideas. Many more recipes and desserts that you can make. Italians maybe are a little bit boring. They do this tiramisu in many different ways, to be able to flavor, to taste it better in different time of the season. But
that is really interesting. It's a really different take on tiramisu.
Yeah, this is layers of energy, say, with strawberry flavor and limoncello. So you get energy, but also you get relaxed by the fact that I've used, I think, a glass of limoncello in there. Okay, so now we can decorate it with some strawberries.
All right, Judith's saying that Sussex pond has got a lemon in the middle. That's really, I've never heard of Sussex pond pudding. We must try and get the recipe and share it around.
Okay. Well, because you're not from Sussex.
That's right.
Yes.
We did. My mother made chocolate cake yesterday, so we had a chocolate cake. Yeah.
Well, do you think you really think you cannot find Columba in UK?
No, I did. I checked actually. I did actually have a look. You can find it on Amazon.
Really, on Amazon, just because I saw that you could find it. For example, I think if you go at Lidl or Aldi, you can find it.
Yeah, possibly. Yes, that's right. That looks gorgeous, Livia. So you just do a couple of layers. That's really pretty. That looks lovely.
It's very fast. There is Columba. There are strawberries. I put quite a lot of cream. I need a lot of energy. I need a lot of energy at this time after all my day. And the truffles are very delicate and small. You can make them tiny, small, and serve them after dinner. They won't be heavy. And you can use, instead of mascarpone to make this little truffle, you could use just milk, for example, and that will make them even lighter, just to soak up a bit of milk in the colomba and decorate them the way you like. So very simple recipe, a way to reuse something that not a lot of people enjoy. But this week I'm going to be busy with the lessons, Lorna. Thanks to you. I'm keeping busy in this boring life. At least I got something I can think about, for the next days, and get organized. And also I got a lot of time to think about new recipes right now. So.
Perfect. I was just thinking actually, with that tiramisu recipe, even if you didn't do Columba, you could just use sponge fingers, couldn't you? You could replace the Columba with sponge fingers.
Yeah, the recipe that I usually do are, let's say, an Italian point of view. So it's up to what we can find here. I try to do things also with ingredients that you can find in UK easily, but usually my ideas are up to what I can find easily in a supermarket. So that's why I thought about doing it with Columba. Panettone is something that in Italy is sold after Christmas for many months, maybe, and the prices go down. It's very cheap, and it can be something you can have for your colazione, for breakfast in the morning, and you can use it in different ways, same as you would do with Columba. So that's why I got this idea that you can do it just with lady fingers, and you could make the tiramisu just with lady fingers, like we usually do. So.
Yeah, that's right. Judith was just asking, you could use brioche. Yeah, you could probably use brioche as well. And Jane was saying she made Sicilian orange cake. I was thinking about it yesterday. Oh, that's nice. That sounds delicious, Sicilian orange cake. That sounds yummy. Everyone's been busy cooking, Livia.
I know, I'm been thinking about new recipes all the time. Because this week, Lauren, I'm going to do, I don't know, I don't know if you know it, I think you know it, but Toscan recipes for the aperitivo. Right, and that in Tuscany there are a lot of recipes made, for example, with old bread. How do you call it? Old bread, steel bread.
Steel bread.
So panzanella, papa al pomodoro, and then all the bruschette, and there are all these ingredients that are typical from Tuscany, and these recipes that are made Tuscany really famous in the years. And then in May I'm going to do Puglia aperitivo. I don't know. And I think for Puglia aperitivo, I'm planning. I've already talked to Antonio about this. I'm planning to do something with him live. He's got, I'm going to do the recipe, and he's there to complain about my ingredients and my recipe, and saying that in Puglia they got it better.
Oh, they always do. Yeah. You're not going to do pitule?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
You're not going to do pitule. Puglia, the pitule.
Yeah, I've done some already, but we can do a spring version. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fast recipe traditional from there. We're going to do taralli. I don't know if everyone knows taralli. I think you can find them also there. They're quite easy to make them in the oven. Yeah, and also I'm doing this week, but I've done it also a few weeks ago, and it was very successful. Aperitivo in Italian.
Yes.
I don't know. They were very happy about chatting a little bit in Italian. It's for any kind of Italian language speakers. It doesn't have to be. I'm just saying the same things also in English for people to practice a little bit and chatting a bit about Italy and about the recipes that we're cooking for the aperitivo. And also the new aperitivo that we are making is Rossini. Have you ever heard about Rossini? Do you have?
Oh, a new aperitivo drink? No, I haven't heard that one. Rossini?
No. You should do it. It's very easy. Here we're starting to have strawberries already because it's quite warm. So it's an aperitivo invented in Venice. There's Bellini, which is made with peaches and Prosecco. And Rossini is entitled to, well, maybe because of the name red, rosso, and is entitled to the composer, but it's just made with Prosecco or any sparkling wine and strawberry sauce. So you blend the strawberries and add it to the Prosecco, which is simple, and a little bit of lemon juice, and served on a flute, on a
Prosecco glass. That sounds really tasty. That sounds really great.
Vabbè.
Yeah, that sounds great.
During my very strict lockdown, I had these ideas. So this
Everyone's benefiting. Well, that's great. Good. And we're back next week, back to normal next week with Monday Lives. What are you thinking about cooking next week, Livia?
Allora, I would like to do something about tomatoes and tomato sauce, a real tomato sauce for pasta, a good one or a few different kind. But I'm waiting to have good tomatoes to do that. You know, like I want really to base this live up to the real ingredients that we can find here, which are in season to be good. And then there are other options, but I don't know. It always, maybe you should ask them to write if there's something that they would like us to show them, you know, in the comment or something, or any ideas or suggestions. Because my problem is to find ingredients that you can recruit easily.
Yes.
You know, that you can find easily in your supermarket. And I don't want you to go crazy looking for the ingredients, obviously. And I would like to do something that is in season there. And so if you help me with these in the comments, it would be very helpful.
Great, we'll do that. That's super. Great. And what are you up to for the rest of today, Olivia? Are you gardening or out in the sunshine or?
Gardening, yes. Actually, there is a lot of sunshine. Yeah. Is it sunny there or not?
Yes.
It's sunny today. Yeah, chilly but sunny. Yeah. Yes, I'm doing. I'm taking off the greenhouses. No, le serre that I got here in the terrace because plants are dying because it's very dry in there and it doesn't rain. That's the problem. We don't have any rain at all, so I have to water the plants already. In 2 days, everything is already completely dry. So doing gardening, and when I will be able to go to garden center. Yeah. Would like to start doing a little vegetable garden on the terrace with tomatoes, few varieties of tomato that I would like to use for the recipes also.
That's great. There's a really good importer in London, I think he's called Franchi, and he sells really nice Italian seeds. You can buy them in the UK. I remember I used to always buy his courgettes. It's really nice courgettes. And if anyone's got gardens, does a vegetable garden, they're really nice for getting Italian seeds. I think I got Rocket, but Rocket grows really easily and it just took over the garden.
Yeah. I'm desperately looking for a pumpkin, which is typical from Sicily, and it's called Serpente di Sicilia, the Sicilian snake, that make beautiful green leaves that actually you eat, and they are called tenerumi. If you've been in Sicily with Carla, I'm sure she cooked them. You boil them and you make a pasta sauce or a soup with them. You actually eat the leaves, and instead the pumpkin is very long and thin, and is very, I don't know, it's good for the picture. You know, it's good for the landscape if you do a little bit of landscape gardening.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for that plant, and I will show you when I will be able to see it and have it. Yeah, maybe I should ask Carla to send me the seed.
Yeah, Carla knows actually. That's right. I don't know if Antonio's here as well, actually, because it was his birthday at the weekend. He had a special birthday.
È vero, Antonio, tanti auguri.
Auguri, Antonio, which is great. Good. Okay, well, we'll see you next week, actually. Actually, no, I won't see you next week. I'm not here next week. I've got to look after my cousin who's getting an operation. So Kieran's going to be in next week doing live with you, Livia. So
okay.
All right.
Good. Well, I'm happy to see Kieran.
Yeah, exactly. Take care. I'll pop the recipes up on the link as well, just after the live, so people can start cooking. Great.
Grazie, Lorna.
Perfect. Thank you.
And have a good Pasquetta.
Yeah, happy Easter to everybody as well. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye now.